Hello and welcome to Hypnotic Talk with Miri and Neota. Miri and I trained for hypnotherapy together. That's where we met and bonded and became friends. And we learned all about hypnosis and how to use it for this state of therapy. And since that time, we have gone in different directions as far as our specialties in our businesses and in our practices. But we have remained committed to one another and supportive, and we are bonded over our love of all things hypnosis and healing. And so what we've decided to do is meet and take the talks that we have been having all these years and to put them on what I'm calling a vodcast, a video podcast, so that we share all of the experiences that we have, that we experience in our practices and things that we continue to learn and develop. And we're sharing that information here in this forum where we have these conversations and share information. And so today what we are talking about is insomnia. We've got a few episodes already about insomnia, which is such a pervasive and debilitating state of disruption. And today we're talking specifically about removing insomnia blocks. And so this is something that we experience with our clients and that we help them through. And we do that using hypnosis and also non-hypnotic methods.
Yeah, so different modalities to deal with insomnia. And we talked about why hypnosis for insomnia and sleep issues is so good and so effective.
Yes.
And also bring back the pleasure to sleep, and rather than to think in the direction of being a hero for pulling all-nighter, we we want to allow you to think in the other direction of being a hero for sleeping well. And I know for those, if you're looking at this episode, you probably know that you're not sleeping as well. But, and we want to encourage you. We want to encourage you and let you know that it's possible to sleep well again and to benefit from sleep and to enjoy sleep.
Yes.
So let's start.
Great.
Yeah, let's start with removing insomnia blocks. And what does it mean? And yeah, go ahead.
Well, we can create blocks out of getting into the cycle of not sleeping. As much as sleeping has its cycles, and sleeping is a cycle of our lives, and the cyclical lifestyles that we live as humans, we get into these programs. Not just humans, but all animals. Believe me, my dog can tell you exactly when bedtime is, or exactly what time dinner. We live in these cycles, and we can create habits of disrupting the cycles, and then it can begin to spiral out of control. And so we can use hypnosis, and as magical as hypnosis is, as healing the things that are inside of you but outside of your control, you can't just be hypnotized and take no other steps to support your wellness. You can't do hypnosis for weight loss and then drive to a fast food restaurant. There has to be.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying is also that one cannot come for hypnosis session and expect it to be done on him or for him without taking responsibility and without being committed to the process as well.
Exactly. It is a commitment. And so what we can do for removing insomnia blocks is work in the hypnotic state and find any emotional blocks that you're working with, but also help you identify potential exterior blocks that you've been creating, unconsciously, subconsciously, and unintentionally. So, for example, making your room sleep friendly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think this is very important. And, it goes to how the brain creates habits and association, and our brain is very associative in nature. So
Yeah.
when we use the bedroom, as you said, when we use the bedroom for something other than sleep, what happens is that the association in our brain is not, okay, well, now in the bedroom and it's time for us to sleep. The,
Correct.
we create the opposite. We are in the bedroom and it's time for us to do something else. Maybe watch TV, maybe, I don't know, solve puzzles, maybe just play, maybe do something else. Um, I always tell my client, just keep the bedroom like a sanctuary for sleep and for sex. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because other than that, we go to the bedroom and the mind is now being awake, wanting to do something else.
It's making that association that when I go to my bedroom, am I going here to engage in my personal, writing, or do I go here to work? Do I go into my bedroom to bring up my laptop and go to work? And am I engaging my brain to be active and focused? And then the trying to then use that same associative state to say, oh no, this is where we shut down, this is where we power
Exactly.
off and go into a rest mode. So those conflicting states and the associations of that space for that thing is challenging. It's creating a blockage. That's what it does. It creates that
Yeah.
block.
It's like when someone wants to change their eating habits and is spending all their time in the kitchen where the association is
Right.
eat something, right? And not necessarily something good or
Yes.
something healthy or the thing that you want to eat or you plan to eat. So, when we are um, opening the fridge door all the time just to peek in, we already, creating this association with food, with eat something. And the same we need to do with bedroom. When we get into the bedroom, we want to create this feeling of this is a sanctuary. We want to go to sleep or rest or have sex. But
Right.
it's not for, as you said, not for work, not for play, not for solving puzzle or watching TV.
Yes. Yes, it's a place for comfort. And so with that in mind and making that association, it's always nice to have supports to that as far as colors, textures, sounds, smells.
Mhm.
You don't want your bedroom to smell like freshly made popcorn, because then it's like, oh, I should be engaging in something visually or, like entertaining. Whereas if you have like nice soft lavender or vanilla smells, well, maybe vanilla's, maybe cooking, but some nice soft soothing smells like
Yeah.
spa-like, um, having a nice temperature that is conducive to a good sleep, nice fresh air, not stuffy or stale. Some people, enjoy like a fan, which
Yeah.
is soothing in its presentation of sound as well as moving the air. The textures that you want. You're not going to turn on like heavy metal. And I'm not saying that nobody sleeps to heavy metal. Some people do, but the sounds that encourage your sleep. It might be white noise. It might be earplugs for dead silence. It might be classical music, or perhaps sleep meditation. Things that are supportive of achieving a different state of consciousness, not an
And with it,
engaged.
I just, yeah, go. Yeah. And I just want to add that lighting is also very important. If we use bright light in the bedroom, it doesn't encourage sleep. We would like to have a soft kind of lighting.
Yes.
Ideally, more red tonish to the light, at least in the evening. There are some light bulbs that you can use to do that, but in general, the right lighting, the right temperature, as you said, the right scent, if someone wants to have a scent, or sound, with fresh air, light, and temperature. are very important for good sleep,
Yeah.
and they are like very, because thanks to studies, we have the right temperature for most people to sleep in, which is about 18 degrees Celsius. I think
Yeah.
it's 67 or 65 Fahrenheit. I'm not sure about it.
I have no
But
idea.
yeah, but it should be on the cooler side,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
fresh air
Add
is
a
very
blanket
important.
if add a blanket if that's necessary, but keep the air cooler. And
Yeah,
it's a better comfort level for, or it's better for inducing a sleep state.
right.
Um,
And
and
removing
like,
anything. Yeah, go ahead.
sorry.
I was saying just removing anything that is creating some alertness in your eyes, in your mind, like any games, any,
Yeah.
posters or pictures that are too much stimulation for you. Just remove them for your bedroom.
Right, right. And studies have, there are people who are addicted to falling asleep to the television on. And studies have proven that that is, even though it helps you to fall asleep, it doesn't help you to get a good sleep. It is actually disruptive in its environment. So to be able to train yourself to fall asleep without the television. Um, and about the associative state, it's so funny because when you watch children and the way that stories work for children to put them to sleep, lulling them into sleep. Um, the monotone of the voice, the inflection, the calming, soothing sounds, the way that you use your voice when you're reading a bedtime story is different than you read, in the classroom. Like, that teachers will read in the classroom to engage children. Um, my daughter, so many years ago, the sleep room at her daycare used Enya, Memories of Trees, as the soundtrack. And that was there almost every day. And honestly, I still have Enya. And when she was young, I don't know what she's like now, but when she was young, if I put on Enya, her eyes would slam shut. The association that it had for inducing sleep was so powerful, and our brains are so powerful,
Yeah,
and those associations can be used intentionally to create effective, deep, restorative sleep. And when you're
absolutely.
sleeping better, everything is better. Your metabolism, your immune system, your ability to reason and be patient, everything is better when you are well rested.
Yeah. So this was basically, environment block.
Yeah.
But what about emotional blocks or mental blocks that we want to remove, right? Like stress,
Yeah.
anxiety, anything else that keeps us awake. So
Yes.
I think if you have your bedroom set for sleep, this is the first stage. And now
Yeah.
we need to attend to what's happening in our mind in order
Right.
to quiet down, in order to stop the racing thoughts, or the nagging voice, or whatever,
Yep.
or any kind of feeling and sensation like overstress, overwhelm, guilt, shame, anger, anything like this. We would like to.
I have a client. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Yeah,
interrupt you, Mary.
no, go ahead.
A client story about the state of being asleep. And as a result of childhood trauma and having a tumultuous environment growing up where there was no stability and there was the constant threat, day or night, awake or asleep, of having some sort of experience that they would need to be aware of. And
Mhm.
so the state of being always vigilant was a blockage that they were experiencing, that they couldn't sleep deeply. As a child, they
Absolutely.
learned that it was dangerous to sleep deeply because there could be a traumatic event and they needed to be on alert. And so that was a blockage that we had to remove, and obviously a very, very powerful one. Um, But as you said, there's the blockages of, you know, what if this doesn't work out tomorrow? You know, to be able to set an awareness. Tomorrow takes care of itself. You don't have to worry about it tonight. Tomorrow takes care of itself.
So we know that consciously,
Yeah.
and we can reason with it, but
Yeah.
subconsciously, of course, we can't. So I have, like,
Exactly.
for me, one of my clients came to me because um, they live in, like, they used to live as kids in an apartment building, and one night there was a fire alarm, and
Yeah.
I can't remember what floor they lived in, maybe 18. I don't know. It sounds right, 18, but I'm not sure. And they had to
Right.
go all the way down while he was very young,
Yeah.
and they had to run through the stairs, and someone fell, and since then they he was worried what happens if he falls asleep,
Yes.
and then the alarm goes off. And
Yeah.
you
Same,
know
same thing.
yeah, so we don't, like, for us now, we say, and even him now in his 20s, late 20s, he said, yeah, but yeah, I'm okay, I can run down the stairs. But because the subconscious or the inner mind does not have past and future, it's always in
Right.
the present. For
Right.
for the subconscious mind, we are in danger when we are asleep, because what if, right? And for the
Exactly.
what if, although it happened long time ago, it's still
Yeah.
very vivid in the subconscious mind, and it triggers every night. So until we switch off this trigger,
Yeah.
so maybe we'll gain a little bit more good sleep, a little longer sleep. But until he removes this completely from his subconscious, or maybe not remove it, but maybe learn how to communicate with the subconscious in a way that, well, it happened before, it happened only once. I'm okay now. I can do it. I can even help others if we need to
Yeah.
run down the stairs. Then, only then, he can gain good and deep sleep.
Yeah. And those situations that we talked about were from early life experiences that created an emotional block that creates a physiological block blocking your ability to get a good sleep. And I had an experience years ago where we'd been in a car accident and everything was okay. You know, we survived the car accident. We were recovering from our physical injuries. Um, but just as I was falling asleep, the sound would attack me. You know, like I would subconsciously recall the sound of the impact, and it would jolt me awake, and then I would have to go through the entire process of calming myself down. And I didn't have hypnotherapy in those days to consult someone and have it mitigated within me, right? To have that trauma dealt with. And it would have saved me countless nights of interrupted sleep had
Yeah.
I had the ability to work with someone to overcome that. And it was a temporary thing, but it didn't feel it at the time, right? When you don't sleep at the time, it feels like
Yeah.
it's an endless cycle.
Exactly. When you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, it's like, okay, when I'll be over with it.
Yeah.
Another example that I had from midlife kind of event that caused it is, I had a client who um, lost all their money, and
Yep.
those nights created so much anxiety. Yeah, obviously. They couldn't sleep. But the impact of, or the effect of them being unable to sleep well at night was unable to figure out a solution as well.
Exactly. Your
So,
mind doesn't operate most efficiently.
yeah, and then the way they described it to me is that they lived in a loop, endless loop of not being able to sleep, just dozing off from time to time. Um,
Yeah.
and and not being able to find a solution. And it was like this for quite a while. I don't know if it was a week or two or something like this. But after that, there was a solution, or partial solution.
Yeah.
Someone offered a hand and pulled them out of it, and they were able to get back to sleep. But the association was already
Yeah.
created. And since then, like it was years, and it was in the mid-40s, but they weren't able to fall asleep and to stay asleep since that time.
Yeah.
So it doesn't always, as you said, doesn't always have to be childhood event. It can be
No.
life event, any event, even an event that, rationally we look at it and we say, yeah, but it happened. It doesn't mean it will happen again, but the subconscious doesn't interrupt the interpretation of this event in the subconscious is not
Yeah.
what we see consciously. So if we're thinking about the power of the subconscious versus the power of the conscious, it's like now science is talking about 95% for the subconscious and 5% for the conscious mind, but it doesn't matter. Even if it's 90 and 10, still the subconscious is so much more powerful than the conscious mind.
So
So you
much more.
can't reason something consciously and expect it to go to the subconscious.
No, the subconscious is emotional based, and emotions don't give a fat rat's ass about logic. They just don't.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, in a hypnotic state, and being able to feel better, to feel peaceful, to feel empowered, gives you the ability to feel
To
better and
replicate
to
it.
sleep. Yes.
Yeah, and to replicate this feeling, to copy this feeling or that you had while in hypnosis and to paste it to when you need it. And of course, it
Yes.
requires work, it requires some effort,
Yes.
but it's worth it because
Yeah.
there is I mean, sorry, blah blah blah. There is nothing works 100% to 100% of the people, right?
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
it's much like the side effects are much better than any other medication that you take. The side effect is that, okay, so it doesn't work. That's it.
Right.
Um,
And
but
just because it doesn't work today doesn't mean it's not going to work tomorrow.
another,
Or
exactly.
sometimes the results are a bit delayed, or they're so subtle. The number of times that my clients will say to me, well, I don't know if it was the hypnosis, but exactly the thing I came to you for is better now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But what happens with subconscious sabotage, right? When those fears, experiences, worries, or stresses are presented as a sabotage to your sleep, that is where, when it blocks you from sleeping, that is where hypnosis or hypnotherapy, using hypnosis as a state of therapy, can come in and remove those sabotaging blockages. We can deal with them. We can, as funny as it sounds now I've said that, it doesn't, we can change the emotion to a more reasonable and helpful emotion. Copy and paste, a state of
Yeah.
calmness,
Another
a
thing
state
that
of
we can
power.
do, another thing that we can do is also look at it while in hypnosis, look at the situation while in hypnosis, and look at it from a different angle, see it in a different light,
A
have
perspective.
a different perception of what's
Yeah.
going on,
Yeah.
and understand that it's not what it looks like.
Well, and also to make the subconscious connection that for every for every trauma or every difficulty or every challenge that you have been faced with and overcome, instead of being, like it'll happen again, I can't expect things to be good. It can be copied and pasted into your subconscious. I can deal with stuff. The more
Exactly.
things I've overcome, the more confidence I have that I can overcome things. Yeah, it's tiring. Yeah, nobody wants to, but should it arise, you have proven your resilience and your resourcefulness. And so to take that and encourage the subconscious, you got this. You got this. Go ahead and
Yeah.
sleep.
Um, so what we basically, just to wrap it up, what we talked about is the environment and how to
Yes.
set the environment so you are more likely to fall asleep and stay asleep.
Yes.
We talked about understanding worries
Mm-hmm.
and maybe looking at what the worries are linked with trauma, stress, overwhelm, any other emotions like guilt and shame and fear and anger,
Yes.
and also maybe it can also be a change in life, like what you said, Neota, about the car accident, about
Yeah.
losing all your money very abruptly.
Yeah. Yeah. Having
Any
things outside of your control
Yeah,
present themselves in your life for you to manage can take a person's sleep away.
yeah. So anything like this, and remembering that the brain is very associative,
Yes.
will help you fall asleep faster, at
Yeah.
ease, and stay asleep for longer.
Yes.
So thank you very much for staying with us. And if you're interested to ask us any questions, please do. If you want to suggest any topic, please do as well. And please
Yeah.
subscribe and come visit us again. Thank you from Neota and Miri. Bye bye.
Bye.